So last year I did a video called I Summed Up the Grinch from Memory. Jim Carrey's The Grinch, specifically from memory. And that video I thought was really funny and really nice. It was very easy. It was probably the laziest shit out video I've ever done, just because I just could rant about one of my favorite, if not my favorite Christmas movie ever for 30 minutes. And it was really fun. It was really wholesome. No ratio, skibbity. I don't know. I've recorded 3 videos already back to back, and this is the 4th one I'm trying to do, so my brain's fried. So I thought this year I'm just gonna do it again, but with a different movie. And this time I decided to do the original Santa Claus with an E at the end for legit legal reasons, because it's supposed to be a funny haha comedy take on Santa and how he's like a legal name that is shifting always, like the Doctor, to different actors, but this time it's real life, and Santa dies, and then Tim Allen becomes Santa Claus. So let's start at the beginning. The movie starts with divorce. Always fun, always nice. 2 Christmases, always a good time. Charlie and his parents, they're divorced, so there's 2 Christmases. And Scott, I believe his name is Tim Allen's character, and he's trying to have a good family Christmas with Charlie. He's a single dad. He's not doing a good job, but he's trying his best. You know, he's a family man, but he has no family. His wife left him. Bitches. Tim Allen is trying to set a good Christmas for Charlie, and one night he hears a clatter on the rooftop. Cling, cling, cling. And he walks out, and he goes, "Hey!" And this big fat man is on the roof, and he slips, and he breaks his neck on the way down, and he fucking dies. And he deflates, and he leaves a red wool suit. And Tim Allen puts on the suit, but before that, he finds a card. It's like a business card for Santa Claus. And he reads it, and then in doing so, he becomes Santa Claus. He puts on the red suit. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He puts on the red suit, he gets in the sleigh, and then it takes him back to the North Pole. And he goes and he talks to sexy man, earliest example of a Tumblr sexy man, Bernard, the elf, the helper elf, with his jerry curls and his perfect skin. Every young teenage girl in the audience in like 1999 loved this bitch, for good reason too. Did you know he was an Oppenheimer? I didn't know that until 2 days after the movie came out, and I still haven't seen the movie. After this, Tim Allen goes back home, and he starts to grow a white beard, and his hair goes white. And he's trying to shave, he's trying to re-dye his hair and shit, and it all grows back. And he's gaining weight rapidly, at a scary pace. He's pulling a reverse David Goggins at this point. And he is starting to only eat milk and cookies and candy, and everyone at his job is getting concerned because they're like, "Scott, are you in a depressive episode? Is she taking the kids? Is she taking you back to court? What's going on, man?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm the happiest I've been in a long time. I'm bringing joy to everyone. Let's bring joy to everyone." Did I mention Scott's part of like a marketing firm too? That's like a key plot point in the movie. And so the whole bit of this movie is he's trying to balance the responsibilities of Santa Claus that has just been given to him, plus a real life. And he has to come and battle with that as a man deep internally in his loins. He has to battle that conflict. And then later in the movie, there's a plot point, I believe, where the police are looking for him. I don't know if he disappeared or if Charlie disappeared. Someone disappeared, or they spotted him, and they're trying to catch him, lock him up. They're trying to do something. The police want something to do with him. I haven't watched the movie in like 3 years. This is legit from memory. Like, this isn't The Grinch where I watched it 2 weeks before and it's still kind of fresh. I cannot remember this movie's plot points whatsoever. They're trying to catch this dude, and they're just having no luck. And then I think he turns himself in, and they lock him up. But then the elves, being the elves and they're smart, they break him out. And then they have a good Christmas. I think that's the movie. I'm not trying to make this video short. I just can't remember this fucking movie. I can recite Santa Claus 2 for you, though, which is my actual favorite movie in the franchise. The Santa Claus 2. What a cinema of a movie. Holy shit. This movie starts with Charlie, Santa Claus's... Actually, it's... Oh, it's all coming back to me now. The movie starts with a plane ride. It starts with a plane flying over the North Pole. And this group of researchers are trying to find sounds within the Arctic ice for some reason. I can't actually vividly remember what they were looking for, but they're flying over, and they're like sending a radar out, and the one guy goes, "I hear something," and he goes, "What do you hear?" And he goes, "Tiny hammers." And then it cuts, and it's the toy shop. It's this beautiful fucking set design of like a huge toy shop. It's what I was like 6 years old. I was like 5 or 6 years old when I saw this movie, and it enamored me ever since. Like, it is so vividly fucking cool. And the whole North Pole is going into panic, and you just see like this big red man running across the screen. You just see this red blur, and it's Santa in a military beret, like he's part of the Black Panthers. And they keep going up in DEFCONs until eventually they fly over, and they shut all the noise off, and they go, "There's one more noise," and they run over, and they see the kid from Cat in the fucking Hat just sitting there, and then they run over and they gag him, and they turn off. He's holding a dancing Santa. They turn off the dancing Santa, and they just panic, and the guys fly away. And it's all happy, ha 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 ha. And then it cuts, and it's to Charlie. Charlie's become a bad boy. He's a teenager now. And you know what teenagers do? They fuck and they vandalize. That's the only two things that teenagers do. Fuck and vandalize. That's what Charlie's doing. He's vandalizing a gymnasium. He put a Christmas tree on the gymnasium. And the principal finds him. Bad bitch. Punishes the shit out of him. Just bad bitch. And Scott gets notified that he has to go and bail Charlie out of prison. Not actually true. I made that part up. Charlie's in trouble, and he needs to be a father. He's a full-on absentee father at this point. So he has to go away from the North Pole and go back to the normal world to help Charlie not become a worse kid. You know, be an actual father. And in doing so, he needs a replacement for him in the North Pole. So the elves have an idea. Bernard and... There's no fucking way. Not Cliff. What the fuck is this kid's name? No, I really like this guy in this movie too. What the fuck was his character's name? I can't remember whatsoever. They have this idea. There's this giant toy machine that duplicates toys. And they have this idea of putting Santa through it and duplicating him as a toy. And they do so. And this guy has a fucking great ass. They make sure to highlight it in the movie. And they duplicate him so he can be the stand-in for Santa while Santa's away. No word. This might have been the first indication of artificial intelligence taking someone else's job. Because holy shit, this fucker goes haywire throughout the entire movie. We'll get to that. And... my brain's fucking bleeding. My brain's bleeding. Santa goes off. I think he takes Comet with him. He rides Comet and he has a watch. Bernard gives him a watch that has like certain amounts of Santa energy. And if he uses too much of the Santa energy, he can't come back to the North Pole. Like like the reindeer doesn't have power, he doesn't have power, he can't come back. So he goes. And he meets up with the principal, and they work out a deal where if Charlie does community service, he won't get it. Their way won't press charges. Great move. Honestly, pretty solid parenting. Teach the kid a lesson, make him do some community service. He learns his lesson. Great. But Scott gets the hots for the principal, and Tim Allen is trying to Tim Allen his way into this teacher. It's uncomfortable to watch sometimes, but he's using Santa Riz to try and get with this teacher, like getting her a doll she wanted since she was a kid. Just materializing a mistletoe over the both of them at like a school event. And getting a toy for a girl that like just asks him, it just tells him what she wants for Christmas. Pretty crazy shit. And while Scott is doing this, trying to be a better parent for Charlie, trying to be a better that was another fucking major plot point I just remembered. Another part of this movie is Scott needs to find a wife. He needs to find his Mrs. Claus, or else the de-Santification process will take over, and he'll no longer become Santa Claus, which is actually the only reason he went to go see Charlie in the first place, was because he's trying to find a wife too. So it wasn't just for his son; it was to find some woman to rizz up to become Mrs. Claus, some unfortunate woman to be Tim Allen's wife. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst fucking enemy. While Tim Allen is trying to get Charlie out of trouble, trying to find a wife, and also fucking that up in the process, by the way, because he told her he's Santa Claus, and she went, "You're fucking mental, get the fuck away from me." And honestly, good for her. It should have stayed that way. The toy Santa decides, you know what, I'm gonna fuck some shit up, and I'm gonna make a toy army because I want to put everyone on the naughty list, and no one deserves to be on the nice list except for me. He's trying to fucking be a dictator over the naughty and nice list. So he creates a toy army, and I actually have a wooden replica of that toy soldier. I just don't have it on me right now. Fuck you. The kid elf comes to Scott, and he says that, oh, the toy Santa created a toy soldier army and locked up all the elves and basically made a labor camp, and they're all just making coal. They literally, the toy Santa made a concentration labor camp for the elves to make only coal for the naughty kids, which is every child on Earth. And he said, you need to come back to the North Pole. And Santa was like, dude, I rizzed too close to the sun. I have no magic. So they decide to get the tooth fairy to come and grab him. So Scott's daughter, Lucy, loses her tooth. And Scott uses that as a ploy to get the tooth fairy to come over. But before that, he tries to rip his own tooth out by throwing himself over the stairs, and he tries to rip his tooth out with a door, which doesn't work. And the tooth fairy comes, and they go to the North Pole, and they realize it's too late, and the toy Santa captures the kid elf and Scott. But then Charlie comes in clutch and gets the woman Scott's trying to rizz up to believe in him and believe in Santa again. And then Charlie finds Comet, who is obese because Lucy fed him too many candy bars, and they fly to... No, it was the tooth fairy again. Charlie rips one of his own teeth out due to shenanigans and gets the tooth fairy to bring him and his wife and Scott's soon-to-be wife to the North Pole. But after Scott has a one-on-one confrontation with the toy Claus, and they almost kill each other because the toy Claus gets really close to leaving the North Pole with all the coal and all the reindeer, but then Scott basically almost kamikazes the sleigh into the North Pole, and after which the elves fight the toy army and defeat all of them with silly string. Holy fuck. But then after all this, they capture the toy Santa, they shrink him back to size. Scott and this bitch, this lovely woman, marry, and she becomes the Mrs. Claus at midnight, and he becomes Santa again, and he like bubbles back out and grows all of his beard and shit back. So he becomes unrecognizable to this woman, which must have been terrifying. Can you imagine you meet someone and they say, I need you to be my wife, and you agree, and you love this person, and then suddenly they're like 100 years older, and they're 100 pounds fatter in 2 seconds? I feel like that'd be fucking terrifying. Wouldn't you agree? And then Scott reveals to Lucy that he is Santa. And the credits roll, and it shows that toy Santa is in a shop somewhere dancing his life away. You know what? What a fucking king. The Santa Claus 3. Martin Short is Jack Frost. Scott is disillusioned because I think he's getting a kid in this one. And then he wishes to Jack Frost that he was never Santa in the first place, which then leads to Jack Frost getting the snow globe and the card, and gets the suit to become Santa, which then Jack Frost, played by Martin Short, makes the North Pole just a tourist trap type beat, And so the kid elf from the second one becomes just a tour guide for this North Pole alternate AU thing. And then some other shit happens that I don't remember. And then Scott becomes Santa again. Great performance from Martin Short. Tim Allen was phoning it in. I didn't watch the Santa Clauses. And I refuse to. Because to me, this franchise ended with the second one. And you will not tell me otherwise. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, hit that like button down below. More 12 Days of Axellent are on their way. And I hope you guys really did enjoy this because I had a lot of fun making this. I'm at my wit's end because I just recorded 4 of these videos in a row. So yeah, I'm having a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see all of you Axellent people in the next one. See you guys!